Good evening, this is Brian Johnson and welcome to my Wednesday night training on leaky gut, digestion issues, allergy issues, asthma issues, diarrhea, constipation, any of those and all of those, IBS, Crohn's, autoimmune disease, gluten disorders, celiac. Every one of those is going to be talked about tonight specifically. And more than likely, if this is your first time, just type in the comment section below first timer. That way I can make sure you have special attention, I can make sure you understand, and I can make sure that all of our family members on here welcome you and we appreciate you. So first steps, while everyone's kind of coming on, I'd like to take a minute and make sure that everyone is accounted for and that everyone is going smooth. I have my computer screen open so I can read posts right now as well. If this is your first time, I welcome you. More than likely, you've seen one of my videos or some of my videos on Facebook, on social media, on YouTube. What's up, Melinda? And I welcome you. And the same for all my veterans that have been connected with me for a while. I welcome you. What's up, Troy? I appreciate you, brother. If this is your first time, what I need you to do is go up to the comment section of my video when I first started this, and where it says step 1, make sure you go up there and input your email address. That way you can get my 7 free videos. And on top of that, you're going to get access to all the trainings that we do every week, Monday through Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Chris and I do trainings all for 4 days for free. And make sure when you go to our link and you put your email address, you're also going to get the notes for tonight's training. So you actually have a workbook. So you actually have something to follow along. I have a stack of notes here, 3-4 pages front and back. I was being efficient tonight and being resourceful and not using extra paper. So make sure that you go up there and you enter your email address and make sure you connect with us. If this is your first time, like I said, for those of you that are just on here, if you wouldn't mind, please share my broadcast because I never know who it's going to help. And I assure you this much, I've worked with a lot of people and been blessed to work with a lot of people, and a lot of them have digestive issues. And we're going to talk about some solutions, some real solutions tonight that you can use to empower your health and empower your wellness, because 85% of your immune system is located in your gut. And if you are off in your gut, you're off everywhere. So tonight we're going to talk about some solutions. We're going to talk about what you can do, how you can do it, why it's important, and what you can expect with the information I'm going to share with you tonight. So once again, if you're a new first timer, just type first timer in the comment section below. That way I can make sure you're supported, make sure you're taken care of. After you go and enter your email address and you register, you're going to get my 7 free videos. Watch them later after my training. After you've done that, first timer, and you've entered your email address in the link above that says 7 video series, make sure you put on the comment section below in the box, say, send me my notes, Brian. That way I can go back and make sure that you get them, and I'll send them out tonight after our training so that way you have them. So without further ado, let's get to rolling. Let's have some fun. So how many of my veterans do I have on tonight? I see quite a few. Francis on, Pushita, what's up, young lady? Great to see you. Welcome to you've been to the last couple of trainings. I'm graced and honored with your presence, and I appreciate you. Miss Melinda, Mr. Troy Ellis, thank you for sharing. So let's go ahead and get into some action. So tonight we're going to talk about a lot of amazing stuff, and I've actually gifted you the opportunity to get involved in our Nutrition Empowerment Series for $97. We're fixing to take it off of special in the next day, where it goes back up to $497. So if any of the stuff I talk about is resonating with you and you are interested in moving forward, tonight is your night. The link is above in the very first part of my post. When you first get introduced to it, all of that is in there, and we'll go back through it over it tonight. And everything that we talk about tonight is going to be in there, so you can get a good understanding of what's actually going on and where you're going to be at. So let's go ahead and get rolling. So for those of you who don't know, by a raise of hands and by a show of comments, or yes or no, how many of you have heard of the term leaky gut? If you've heard of the term leaky gut, just type a yes. If you have not, just type a no. If you have not shared my broadcast, please do so. I encourage you and empower you, and I'm grateful for you. And most importantly, so are the people that are going to hop on because you sharing it, because I never know who we're going to help. What's up, Espiricueta? That's my kickboxing coach. Awesome, Troy. Who else has heard of leaky gut? Leaky gut can come in many forms and symptoms. And for those of you that have my notes and my workbook, you can see exactly what I'm about to talk about. So leaky gut is literally to where you have, what's up, Jen? Oh, awesome. She's here. We were just having an in-depth, loving conversation, young lady. You know what I said about, emotions. That's for you. So tonight we're going to get into that, okay? So here we go. So leaky gut is literally to where your intestinal tract is inflamed. And when it's inflamed, it stretches out, right? Makes sense. When it stretches out, there's probiotics. When we have a healthy gut, there's 4 pounds of gut bacteria in our intestinal tract. That's a lot, right? Ideally, 80% of it should be good and 20% of it should be bad. Most people are way off of that, okay? So here's the deal. If you have leaky gut syndrome, that means that your intestinal tract is inflamed, where probiotics would line your intestinal tract. So when you eat foods, those probiotics will come in there and start to eat all of the content up, the food, the doo-doo, whatever you got going on there, right? And what happens is when your gut's inflamed, you have leaks in your gut to where the food that is in your gut no longer gets digested. And what happens is it leaks into your bloodstream. Now, this is where we start to have an issue. Because your body's like, hey, we got a spill on aisle 13. All forces go, go, go. So your immune system just starts beating stuff up and starts attacking your system. Ideally with the foods that are supposed to be providing nutrients for you. Now you're under attack. Can we both agree that that's not really the best thing for your health and wellness? That's going to create malabsorption or no absorption on top of having autoimmune responses. If that makes sense to you, just type a yes so I can make sure we're on the same page. If not, type your question shorthand and let's figure out where you're at. That way I can make sure we're all in. What's up, Mike Segro? Yes. All right, we're good so far. So, and this is funny. All right, what's up, Mary? Long time no see. Good to see your smiling face. So let's talk about this for a second. So Hippocrates, what's up, Selena Carpenter? Have any of you heard of Hippocrates? This was actually the first OG, the first original doctor. Anybody heard of Hippocrates? If you've heard of Hippocrates, just type a yes. And more than likely, tonight will be 2 sessions. We're not going to be able to get through everything tonight. For those of you that have my workbook and are on our email list and got all my notes, you know that's about 4 pages of notes. So take that. Rehearse it. Go through it. Okay, we got a few yeses on Hippocrates. All right, so here's what Hippocrates says. The father of modern medicine, Hippocrates said, all disease begins in the gut. And research has now proven he's absolutely right. So healthy gut equals healthy immune system. No healthy gut means you got some issues, potentially. Okay? So essentially, leaky gut syndrome is called hyperpermeability. Condition that happens when we have inflammation. Tonight we're going to talk about what causes inflammation. We're going to talk about the different types of environmental and food and emotional toxins that come in and create that. So just hold on to your seat and make sure you carry your open mind. Make sure you keep something to write with for sure. That way you're prepared. Okay. So according to us, I'm going to read a couple of studies to you real quick, but I think it's important for you. According to a study published in Norwegian Medical Journal, this process is implicated in the onset of disease, includes several acute or fast-acting chronic pediatric conditions that are likely to have the origin during infancy. So what they're saying here is some of these things going on right now can be equated back to infancy. My invitation to you is this. If you were not born with it, you can reverse it. I think that's very important, and I don't really trust a lot of these medical studies because medical studies don't filter things on the way that I filter things. And this is important for you to understand. Less than 6% of graduating physicians have a minimal of 3 hours of nutritional education. That is nothing. To kind of give you an idea, I've been blessed to have over 100,000 at this point. And I'm not saying that as a pat on my back. I'm saying that as I'm coming from a position of someone you can trust, or somewhere you can hang your hat on. You can follow me and you can trust the information that I'm sharing with you because it's tried and true. I've seen it done, I've practiced it, I've applied it, and I've tested it on some of the world's finest. Okay? So here's what I also encourage you to take into account, because when I was personal training about 2 years ago, I literally had 2 of the top top GI docs in Texas that were my clients. A GI doc is a gastrointestinal doc. This is the person that you go to and they dig all in your guts with scopes and their fingers and stuff and see exactly why your gut is not working appropriately, why you're having polyps, why you're having digestive issues, why you're having autoimmune issues. A GI doc is who you go to figure out those problems. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. I had both of these guys in the same place at the same time. We were working out together, all three of us. And I said, hey guys, can I ask you a question? Of course, Brian, yes. Awesome. I said, with your area of expertise, how much of an impact do you think that foods that we eat plays, how much of an impact do you think that plays a role on intestinal health, on autoimmune disorders, on digestive disorders, on IBS, on Crohn's, on celiac, on gluten sensitivities, on all of this? I said, how much of an impact do you think your food plays on any of this? Are you ready? Are you sure? All right. So here's what happened. They sit there for a second. They look up and they said, we don't think it has anything to do with that. Really? I'm curious. Where exactly are you gathering this information from? Because from my understanding, you would not take your vehicle down to the gas station and say, hey, give me your best sugar because I'm going to fill up my tank. Does that sound logical to you? Yes or no? Does it sound logical to think for a second that the food you put into your body is not going to impact your digestive system or your body as a whole? Do you think that that is true or false? And this is important. Bing, 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 ding, 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 ding. I get to have some music next time. Next time I'm going to get some music like that. Some little, whatever that game is. So you're right. No, Freddie, it's correct. Whatever you put into your body is going to have an impact on how you feel, how you show up, what your body does, and how well your immune system functions or does not. Okay? So my opinion is this. If you're not born with it, my opinion is you can probably reverse it. Okay? So let's go over a few things that are prevalent in digestive disorders so you can kind of get an idea of what are some symptoms that you may be experiencing now that you could very well have some solutions to, and we may very well have some solutions for them tonight. And if you have not shared my broadcast, please do. It's super simple now. All you got to do is hit the share button. It's not near as what it used to be, and I appreciate you. So allergies have been linked to digestive disorders and leaky gut for sure. Asthma, autism, autoimmune disease, eczema and psoriasis, which are both skin disorders. And for those of you that are on my notes, I'm on page 2 right now. Inflammatory bowel disease, which is also known as IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Like honestly, I've had a lot of clients that have come to me to help them with IBS. I'm going to share a couple things with you. IBS is irritable bowel syndrome, which means they literally will plan their day around if they're going to be able to leave the house without pooping on themselves. Now, let's just be honest. Some of the parties and some of the things we used to have, it used to be kind of cool when people would poop on themselves. Not so much, okay? People will actually have days where they cannot leave the house, sometimes weeks, because their digestive tract is completely unpredictable. Some of them actually have to wear Depends or diapers. So my encouragement to you is to be open-minded because you never know when something like this is going to happen. So it's very important for you to be conscious and to be awake of what your body is experiencing, what your foods are doing to your body to experience. And understanding when symptoms show up, be empowered with the wisdom to make a new choice. And that's exactly what I'm going to be giving with you tonight and throughout any of our trainings that Chris and I do. That's exactly what you can expect to get from us on your journey, okay? So, you have rheumatoid arthritis. You have systemic inflammatory response syndrome. Systemic means all throughout your body, okay? And then you have type 1 diabetics, which is also interesting. So, how do you know if you have leaky gut? Let's talk about that because a lot of people don't know And it all is really indicative of what type of symptoms you have and what you are experiencing. So keep watch out for these 7 leaky gut symptoms. And if you're following around in my notes, I'm right on page 2. I'm going through point number 1, okay? Food sensitivities. People affected by food sensitivities often find that leaky gut is to blame because of the onslaught of toxins that enter the bloodstream. The immune systems of people with intestinal hyperpermeability, which means leaky gut, are on overdrive, mass producing various antibodies, which makes their bodies more susceptible to antigens in certain foods. Antigens are things in foods that can create an immune response, very simply put. Okay? So here's a story for you. For a long time, I was actually allergic to avocados, meaning if I touch an avocado to my lip, it would swell up. If I would eat it, it would swell up. There's been times when I tried to pull my mind is greater than thou, and I am not allergic to avocado, and I shall eat all of thee, and I had 2 of them, and my throat got a little swollen up, and I was like, maybe I should not do that anymore. And really what happened is I had leaky gut. Meaning my stomach, my intestinal tract was now responding off to foods because I had inflammation. I had an inflamed GI tract or gastrointestinal tract. And foods that I ate now created an immune response because my body could not process them. So a lot of you have heard me talk about Good Belly Big Shots. Actually, the video that I did today, when you leave my video training, make sure you click on the link above and make sure you access my free 7 videos where I go through grocery store knowledge just like this. We talk about digestion. We talk about how to boost your brain function in my videos, and they're under 14 minutes. The video that I did on Facebook today talks specifically about ADD, ADHD, brain function, digestion, and it talks about Good Belly Big Shots. Good Belly Big Shots are extremely potent. It was Good Belly Big Shots that actually reversed my allergic reaction to avocados. So back to the statement that I made earlier. If you have not been allergic to it forever, more than likely you can reverse it. To the tune of about 90% of those you can reverse. So that's amazing. That's promising. Does that sound beneficial and something that sounds super enthusiastic and exciting for you to understand? Of course it does. Okay? So, we talked a little bit about IBS. I'm going to touch on a little bit more. Irritable bowel syndrome, ulcerative colitis. IBS is a big deal. Some people who have IBS, literally, like I said, cannot leave the house without knowing what kind of day they're going to have. And, you know, depending upon what kind of day they have, sometimes it's a shitty day. No pun intended. Actually, pun intended. And what happens is, I've had people who have had IBS that we were able to solve in a day. I'm going to give you a gift right now. Are you ready? Here you go. What happens when you have diarrhea? We're going to talk about it. That's right. He is talking about it. We're talking about diarrhea right now. If you have it, get someone to go to the store for you if you have to. Get some coconut shavings. And get some coconut oil. Take the coconut shavings, put them in a pan. Take the coconut oil, put it in the pan with the shavings. Saute the coconut oil in the shavings. Here's what happens. Coconut specifically is great at stopping diarrhea. Some of the worst cases. Like I literally used to work with a lady who would be extremely terrified of leaving the house. And we were able to solve it really fast with coconut shavings and Good Belly. It was a lifesaver, dude. It allowed her to continue traveling the world with her husband because she was retired. And here's honestly, like, this is valuable information I'm about to share with you. What Chris and I have experienced is this. When people have digestive disorders, it's typically because they have feelings that they have not loved, forgiven, and resolved. I'm going to repeat that. When people have digestive disorders, whether it's diarrhea, whether it's constipation, that means that they have got feelings that they have not loved and not resolved. Everything else that happens after that is just a byproduct. And our Western medicine doctors, civilization, community, they don't recognize that. They don't recognize the emotional component. They just treat the symptoms. If you treat the symptoms, then you're always going to have cyclical treatment. But if you treat the root of the issue, the symptoms go away. Seems pretty logical to me. It almost seems like common sense. However, common sense is not always common sense for some people. So therefore, we must explain. Okay? So, Crohn's disease is another one that's in there. So having a good digestive tract with the food, starting with a good belly, you may even do good belly big shots for sure. I highly recommend them, and we'll talk about those a little bit more. Inflammatory bowel, IBS. So now we're on part number 3 right now on page 2. We're talking about autoimmune disease, and I've got about 9 more minutes, and then we'll shut it down for tonight. So autoimmune disease, this is important. I'm going to read it out to you. The key to understanding leaky gut, or how leaky gut can cause autoimmune disease, is through the research done on a protein known as a zonulin. It's according to a 2011 article published in the Journal of Physiologic Reviews. Zonulin is the only physiological modulator of intracellular tight junctions, which is the holes in our intestinal tract. That's a junction, okay? Involved in trafficking of macromolecules. Therefore, the tolerance, immune response, balance. What happens is when they started doing researching on zonulin, they realized that that was one of the things that is targeted by gluten, and that's what creates a gluten issue. Now, honestly, I had never even heard of zonulin until today, so if you're wondering, like, Brian, what in the world are you talking about? It's all good. I completely understand. Moral of the story on this part right here on autoimmune diseases is this. If your gut is out of balance, meaning your gut bacteria is out of balance, meaning you do not have a good enough probiotics, you're not eating enough raw, cultured, sauerkrauted foods, raw fruits and vegetables and things like that, you're not eating enough of those and smoothies, then your gut bacteria is going to be out of balance. How do you know if your gut bacteria is out of balance? If you're not using the restroom more than 2 or 3 times a day, if it's not consistent 2 or 3 times a day, if you're constipated, if you have a problem going to the restroom, those are all indications that you have some challenges going on. Everything else is symptomatic, meaning my body's attacking itself. I'm having acne issues and skin issues. My moods are all over the place. Those are all symptoms that your body's actually attacking itself, which is an easy fix. Okay. Now here's something else that's interesting too. Thyroid problems can show up, and specifically talking about Hashimoto's, which is hypothyroidism, which is hypo is slow, hyper is fast. Now, this is important. Oh, that's interesting. I just gotta have aha for myself. Aha, have some water. Thyroid. One thing, if you're reading my notes right now and you see it says on there, in parentheses, hypo slow, it says explore anger around females, which is very important because you know I've already mentioned this, and if you followed me for any time and seen some of my videos, you know I always filter everything from the emotional lens of body language and emotional alchemy or emotional challenges. So you're welcome, Mary. I appreciate you, Mary Glenn. So when you understand that this stuff is all a breeze, you realize that, wow, everybody's just treating symptoms. And if I have thyroid issues and my thyroid is slow, meaning hypothyroidism, I mean it's easy for me to put on weight, what happens is, you're welcome, Lil, I appreciate you too, Lil Gentry. What happens is you get to explore, do I have any unresolved anger with any females in my life? Could be with myself. Could be with my mom. Now, you may ask, Brian, why is that important? Why do I need to do that? You don't, well, you do need to do that, because if you don't, here's what happens. Your body's extremely intelligent, and your body is going to give you signs of these things acting up. And if you don't obey and acknowledge and choose to move forward and to create some changes in your life, what happens is those symptoms eventually turn up in the form of a dis-ease. Thyroid cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer, All of those cancers have an emotional component that goes along with them first, that happens first before it stems into anything else. So it's really important that you understand that. Matter of fact, it's imperative that you understand that. And all of the stuff that I talk about, we go through all of this in our trainings. So you have a complete understanding and you have a complete educational system to learn and to remember this for yourself. Because here's one thing that I assure you. Today I was on the phone with some insurance people talking about insurance, and honestly, I have not had insurance in probably 10 years. I don't go to the doctor. So for me to pay $300 to $600 a month for something I don't use sounds absolutely ludicrous. I'd much rather take my fine of me getting charged for being healthy than I would any day over paying for something that I don't use. And I don't even believe that they're even tending to me the appropriately way that my body needs attending to. So my encouragement to you, if you're really looking to step into your full power, then you get to step into understanding the wisdom that God has put in our foods, and you get to understand how to apply them in your unique circumstance. And if you are serious and committed to your health, my invitation to you is to join us tonight. You have a limited opportunity to join us for $97 on a $497 retail program that goes through all of this stuff. Everything on digestive health, cardiovascular health, how to boost your hormones, how to get better sleep, how to have better brain function, how to reverse illnesses, and how to show up at your best. It's all done in a digital format. So if you are serious about your health and wellness and you're tired of wasting money, because I assure you, you are wasting money if you do not know what God has available for us. It's so simple. People say, it's not rocket science. Just know what it's not. It's common sense. Doesn't it just make sense that what you put in your body is going to make an impact? Yeah. Every day. Every second. So when you understand that and you understand the gifts and the information and the wisdom, the infinite wisdom that God has put into our foods, and you understand how they work, and you understand what your body's telling you, so you understand what body language is and what this means and why my thyroid's acting up. Man, god dang, I've been putting on weight and I can't get it to come off. What's going on? Oh, wow, I've had some anger with my mom that I haven't resolved for 5 or 10 years. When you understand that, the truth will set you free. If you know the truth about yourself and how to apply the wisdom and the information. And the easy part about this is that we make that super simple and super easy for you to do, have, and be. If you're not joined and you're not in our family, my invitation to you is to step up, invest in yourself through me, and allow Chris and I to support you. Allow us to put you in our secret group where you have community members in a tribe like what you have right now, and you have support. The only way you're going to make a change is to step out of your box. Give yourself permission to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Everything that you learn new is uncomfortable. But let me ask you this. When you walk through the grocery store and you're walking through the vegetable and the fruit aisle, how do you feel when you're in that area of the store? I'd like some responses. Respond and tell me how you feel when you're in the vegetable and the fruit aisle of the store. What do you notice? Do you feel more awake? Do you feel more connected? Do you thinking somehow on some level like, man, these things do something for me somehow? Or have you consciously thought about that yet? I guarantee you have, because everybody on here is a high-level thinker, or you would not be connected with me on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. There's so many other things you could be doing right now, other than empowering your life and your health and giving yourself permission to be the best version of yourself, because you are empowering yourself with the truth, and it is the truth that will set you free. Yes, energize. That's exactly right. Your body knows. Your body knows. Give yourself permission to honor it. Give yourself permission to be fully authentic with yourself. When I say authentic with yourself, like, that means being emotionally literate. That means if I ask you right now, Lil Gentry, what do you feel in your body? Do you feel tightness in your stomach? Do you feel tightness in your chest or your throat? Do you feel tightness in your back or your neck? You may say, Brian, what does this have to do with my digestion? Everything. Because if you don't understand what your body's telling you, your digestion is going to be symptomatic based on that information. period. If you don't know where you're at, you don't know where you're going to go. You may know where you would like to be, but until you understand exactly where you're at and you're functioning from your current true reality, that's the only difference, and that's the only way you're going to be able to thrive and move forward. So, that's what I have for tonight. We finished up a little bit, 30 minutes. Tomorrow, Chris is going to go live. I may hop on sometime on Friday or Saturday and surprise you, and we'll go back through the rest of my training. But here's the deal. I mean, I'm just going to be Brian with you for a minute. If you've connected with us for the first time, we appreciate you. We love you. Has anybody here on our training currently taken our nutrition program? I know multiple people of you have. Would you do me a favor and just leave a comment of what your thoughts were? And honestly, be honest. If you say, "You know what, Brian, that stuff sucked and I can't believe you wasted your time," tell me that. I'm okay with that. I appreciate the truth, and I use it to grow as often as possible. But really, my invitation to you is this. If you have not invested in yourself into our Nutrition Empowerment Series, it's 6 hours long. Allow me to share some things with you on what you can expect and the benefits you're going to get out of it. If you're truly looking to feel better, if you're truly looking to burn stubborn body fat, if you're truly looking to connect with yourself, if you're truly looking to understand what to do at the grocery store, how to empower yourself, how to empower your family. I got into grocery store food healing because my dad came down with prostate cancer. And when I talked to all my doctors and all my resources, you know what they told me that made sense? Nothing. Nothing was about air, nothing was about water, nothing was about food, and nothing was about consciousness or emotions. That specific experience, my specific experience of not having any truth to tell my dad, man, I was so heartbroken over that. It was that void and lack of being able to share something of fruitful value to make an impact in his life that sent me on a chase to gather all of this wisdom that you are experiencing right now. You have the ability to take out of the 100,000 hours that we have invested and the multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars that we have invested in learning this stuff from the top professionals on the planet. You have the opportunity to take it home for a fraction of the cost at $97. My encouragement to you is don't be left with your pants around your ankles like I was. I didn't know the truth. I had no idea what was even available. And I assure you, if you invest in yourself and invest the time into learning what God has for you, you will set yourself free. If you don't, you're going to be a slave to the medical system. And I assure you, the medical system doesn't give two shits about you. Matter of fact, they would rather you have cancer and rather you be ill, most of them, so they can collect from insurance companies on massive rates of fucked up surgeries that cost you $100,000 to cut your freaking toe off. That's ridiculous. Why do I say it and so passionate about it? Because I see it all the time. And my encouragement to you is to empower yourself with the truth and the knowledge necessary to make a difference in your life. And guess what? You are the only one who's going to be able to do that. I can't do it for you. However, I can meet you halfway and provide you the opportunity through the vehicle that we've created for you to take advantage of it. It's just going to take you stepping up and saying, yes, I'll be having some of that. Thank you. So here's the gifts and the bonuses that you get if you choose to move forward. Or when you choose, yeah, they want you to take drugs. And honestly, there's drugs in your food. More so powerful than any pre-manufactured made drug you could possibly ever get. God has already understood all this. No toxins. None. You take them, you don't get high illegally. You get high on life and you get toxin free. Go figure. At a fraction of the, not even that, a fraction of the cost is not even comparison. Like you can get a kiwi for 40 cents and reverse your asthma. And you go take asthma and albuterol and all kinds of this other shit and it costs you $150 a month for a prescription with something you can resolve in a day or less. I've seen it happen. So my encouragement to you is this. Step out of my training as soon as I'm done sharing my experience for you in about 30 seconds. Hop up to the link above that I posted that says, take me to your Nutrition Empowerment Series. It's $97. That price is only good until 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time tonight. It goes back up to $4.97 tomorrow. So for those of you that have not, I highly encourage you to invest in yourself and understand and own the truth. They're super easy to consume. You can watch them from wherever you choose to. From your phone, from your house. You can watch them while you're doing cardio. You can watch them while you're washing the dishes. Buy it as a gift and give it to your mom and dad. Somebody who's going to need it, because I assure you there's nothing worse than having to take care of a mom or a dad who doesn't understand how to do it themselves. Because think about this. When you get into that position, that sucks. I'm doing everything in my power to empower my parents right now with the truth, so I'm not having to wipe my dad's ass when he's old. Okay? I don't want to do that. I love you, Dad, and my choice is to give you the wisdom now so you can take care of what you need to do so we can hang out, and I'm not wiping your ass when you're old. And I love you. You see what I'm saying? So if you give yourself the knowledge now, you will thank yourself in the future. And the only time that really exists is right now. So make sure when you hop out of here, go up in the link. And here's the deal. I want to cancel. I desire and require and choose to connect with you when you get involved. Message me after you do that. I desire to have a conversation with you. Let's connect. I'd like to know our family members so I can also add you to our Facebook group. My invitation to you is to use my talk tonight. And you obviously, you know I'm fired up about it. I see this happen all the time. And the whole reason why I do these trainings and step away from my family 3 to 4 nights a week is to share with you the truth because of what I've seen it done. So my invitation to you is to take action now. Trust me, follow my advice and make a decision to be your best. Understand the truth and it will set you free. That's all I have. Message me after you enroll. It's $97. It goes to $4.97 tomorrow. You got it till midnight Pacific Standard Time. You also get added to our Facebook group. And my last bonus is I'm going to give you our smoothie training video for free. Have an amazing night. I love you. I appreciate all of you who are there. I know you're all supported. And one thing about him, he totally responds. Yes, I do. I talk to people who, honestly, you know what's really crazy? Can I be fully authentic and share something with each of you? It's amazing how many conversations I have with people from the lands of Facebook. I'm on Facebook all day. There's no reason in the world that I could not ever respond to you. Okay? And here's the deal. I've had multiple conversations where really people were besides themselves when I called. They didn't think I was going to call. And that sucks that they've had an experience like that before, A. And my commitment to you is to always show up and to always be honest with you and to always show up fully. You have every right to call me out if I'm slipping, and I give you permission to do so as my accountability partner. I appreciate you, and I love you, and I vote your victory, and I'll see you soon. Make sure you message me after you register. Have an amazing night, and remember, if you don't make time for your wellness, you will make time for your illness every time. Night, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you investing your time with me and allowing me to support you and share with what's on my heart and what God has blessed me to do. Thank you. Bye, y'all.